now, we've not been able to secure fuel.
Endless fighting going on. One person passed out. It's an absolute nightmare. Insane, crazy fights. The airplane. It's insane. Everything is out of control there. Oh, so you go to London and like, oh, Germany. Well, you white guys all look the same. So guys, here I am. Welcome to Lagos International Airport, flying Nigeria's largest flight. More about that later in the video, but things get even worse. Incidents, the airline is trying to hide from the public and authorities. More about that later in the video, but things get even worse. Police staff also told me that the owner of the airline emailed all employees asking them to report and dislike my video. On top, they have been urged to impersonate happy customers and leave positive comments. A few days later, the airline started a campaign of sending fake profiles to leave positive comments, which further revealed the fraudulent ways of AOP's dealing with its customers' feedback. I didn't receive a single apology. But now let's check in for another crazy flight on the not-so-peaceful airline, Air Drama. This guy. Yeah, this guy pointed me over there. This guy. The guy over there, he pointed me over there. My flight to Johannesburg was scheduled to depart at 1 a.m. However, upon check-in, I was told that the flight was delayed by 3 hours because the airline flew to Hungary to make up Nigerian displaced by the war in Ukraine. What an adventure that was. Hands down, one of the worst check-in experiences in our life. How I have it lounge. Well, let me talk you through the check-in experience I had. First of all, there's no line. There's no system, there's nothing. There's just a bunch of people, a bunch of like desks, stations. So get to the counter, you know, my passport. The guy does pre-checks. You're not even at the check-in counter yet. He said you're from the UK, and I was like, in a funny banter kind of way. It's like, well, look at the sign. Or you're the other way around. Black guys with the sign. What if, like, one of my comment that is, that was my first impression right there. Anyhow, all this being said, the plane I just checked on flight radar is just about to enter Nigerian airspace, coming from Budapest, so I reckon we're going to take the ex-Emirates plane, 777. This is what I was experiencing 1 week flying in Nigeria. It is only extremely bad or extremely good. But this is my experience in Nigeria. There's never a middle between. And then another thing is, everyone is so suspicious of what you do. If you have a camera, you will be treated like a spy, like a criminal. I've never experienced this anywhere else in the world. The aggressiveness towards a camera here in Nigeria has been immense. I then decided to go for a little walk and look what I bumped into. Seems like there's some protests going on. Let's check it out. What are they doing? Oh, here's Kate. He's not like a big king, right? He's a big king. Yeah. Oh, really? King. Yeah. Famous. Oh, that's cool. And that's all part of the tradition that they say and stuff like that. What is London? That's what it will be. Oh, so he goes to London and like everywhere he goes, any part of the and always they're making always noise, yeah. Interesting. And that's amazing. No, okay, that's pretty awesome. I think that's pretty cool. I mean, I haven't met a king like I don't usually don't see kings walking
You know, you're not allowed to even wipe it down on a live stream. There's a copyright strike. Community guidelines strike.
There's no departure boards. This is something I've noticed in all of Nigeria. Whether you travel domestically or even internationally, there's never any departure boards. Just doesn't make sense. Well, yeah, I think I want to report to myself. So guys, as you can see, I'm back in the lounge. Luckily the lounge is open all night, but I still have 4 hours to kill. Probably even more than 4 hours, because on flight radar I could see that the plane wasn't flying to Lagos, but landed in Abuja instead. So the wait definitely continued. Departure wasn't real anymore. The plane is landing in Abuja, not even in Lagos. Landing now is 9:30. Disembarking everyone, refilling the plane, getting it ready, fly from Abuja to Lagos.
You know, technically, it's illegal to own a gun and smoke pot. Because whenever you buy a firearm, no matter what, you just fill out this piece of paper, and the very first question on there, number one question is, do you use marijuana or any other drug, I think, but it definitely says marijuana on the first question. Literally the very first question on the ATF. No matter what, if you wanted to go out tomorrow and buy a shotgun for hunting season, or if you wanted to go to buy a fucking AK-47. I remember when Walmart used to have like 10 different AK-47s in their little showcase. They were like $450, $480. But anyway, whenever you get one, no matter what, pistol, shotgun, M16, AR-15, bolt-action rifle, you fill out the same piece of paper every time. It's like a 10-question questionnaire that goes immediately to the ATF. The dude that's working at the store that you bought it from, whether it's Walmart or Dick's or wherever, actually gets on the phone, calls him up, and faxes that slip of paper over to him. Every single firearm transaction is the same way. And they either grant or deny your purchase, and if you don't hear back in 3 days, you just get it automatically. But my only point was that the very first question on there is, do you use marijuana or any other recreational drugs? It's like the number one question, and number two is like, have you ever had domestic violence? Have you ever been mentally institutionalized? God, it's been a while. I haven't filled out one of those. I haven't bought a firearm in 10 years. I'm trying to think what other questions are on there. Oh, fuck, I can't remember. I'm sure there's a website out there I can find it. But, so yeah, technically, the federal government could, if they wanted to, anybody that they know smokes weed, they can come and take your guns from you for smoking weed. So technically, you lied on the paperwork.
Back to Sati Tactical. I've been asked in the comments all.
transaction record. Documents a transfer of firearm from a licensed dealer to a private citizen. There's a federal law for anybody purchasing a firearm from a federal firearms license holder. Information on the form used to conduct background check via the NICS system. I don't know, that's what it was. What it asks for: your name, address, place of birth, information about your height, sex, weight, ethnicity, several questions about your eligibility to own a firearm, such as criminal history, mental health history, your signature, IHL, blah, blah, blah. I was wrong. It's not the first question, it's the fourth. Are you a user or addicted to marijuana or any depressant, stimulant, narcotic, or any other controlled substance? But it says straight up marijuana, and you've got to say no to get that fucking purchase. Have you ever been adjudicated mentally defective? Or have you been committed to a mental institution? Are you a fugitive from justice? Here we go. Have you been convicted in any court of a crime for which a judge has imprisoned you? Are you under indictment in any court for a crime which you could be in prison? Are you the actual buyer? Have you been discharged from the armed services with dishonorable conditions? Are you an illegal alien? Have you renounced your citizenship? Are you subject to a restraining order? Have you been convicted of domestic violence or any misdemeanor crime? Are you a citizen? State of residence? So yeah, anytime you go buy a firearm, no matter where, whether it's fucking Kmart, Wegmans, fucking Wally World, Buffalo Gun Center, probably now even at gun shows. Probably have to do this at gun shows. You used to not have to do this at gun shows, but I bet you do now. If you went to like Dick's or Cabela's, even a used firearm, you gotta fill this out every single time you buy one for each transaction. I fill out about 50 of these in my day, for real. One time I had a couple hundred firearms. For some reason I always thought that was the very first question, but I was wrong. I had it. rifle when he's out like 10 years, at least, maybe longer. Oh no, that's not true. That's not true. I did pick up a couple like 6, 7 years ago. I bought a couple rifles. Bolt action, nothing crazy. Sniper rifle, little 22 mag. I like 22 mags. 22 Magnum. Pretty powerful little fucker. Definitely drop it here. Like a regular 22. Take about 10 shots with a regular 22. And then if they don't get a response in 3 days, they like automatically give it to you, which is kind of a weird rule. But like the NCIS system is so busy that they don't respond to the request, which sucks because sometimes you know I have to come back for the thing, you know, and you want to take it home right then and there. Regular cute little 22. 22 mag. It's a little bit beefier. Just the slightest little bit bigger on the base. So that you really couldn't accidentally load these into a regular 22 caliber, or vice versa. Offset a little bit so you can't really get them mixed up. And the firearm itself, they just won't function. They won't see. You won't be able to put the action in. It won't lock in. But anyway, it's fast too. It's a cooker. This little 22 Magnum is fast. Hornady VMAX 30 grain 22 mag feet per second.
The Hornady VMAX 30 grain 22 Magnum has a muzzle velocity of 2,200 feet per second. This is the speed when the bullet leaves the barrel, but it decreases as it travels.
200 feet a second. That's not super fast. It's pretty fast. 243. That fucker cooked. That was like 42 or 4,400 feet a second. Which was weird, so you'd be shooting at steel targets. And every other gun's like bang! Ding! Bang! Ding! 243's like bang! Ding! Like immediate. Just immediate. No matter how far away it is. Bang, ding. Sometimes you can't even hear the ding over the fucking shot. Remington Golden Bullet 22 feet per second.
The Remington Golden Bullet 22 LR has a muzzle velocity of 1,280 feet per second. It's a high-velocity round, and the 36-grain version is popular because it offers a flat trajectory and good energy.
Max distance of a 22 caliber.
A .22 caliber bullet can travel up to about 1.5 miles, which is around 2,000 yards, but its effective range for hunting is much shorter, usually between 75 and 100 yards, depending on factors like the aim.
Max range for a 22 Magnum.
The maximum effective range of a .22 Magnum is around 125 to 150 yards, making it good for hunting small game. However, its potential range can be much further, up to 1.5 to 2 miles, though accuracy is greatly reduced at those distances.
It's the maximum range of a 308. Effective range is different. Weird when I got to 308, it got all weird. 3 miles, okay. Can exceed 3 miles. That's pretty impressive. In a purely ballistic sense, a 308 can travel up to 3.35 miles at 5,900 yards if fired at the right angle. This is the maximum distance the bullet will physically travel, not the range for which it is useful. Right?
Since we started our deep dive into the world of pocket pistols and other small caliber handguns, I have received endless requests about the 22 Magnum. 122 Magnum fans, your day has. And for those of you who have been following this series, waiting to see if I will cover your favorite mouse gun caliber, fear not, I will get to it. I've got stuff planned for 32 ACP, all the various 32 revolver calibers, 380 ACP, and if you comrades are really nice, I might even throw in something about 9mm Makarov just for kicks. And I'm still planning to review different carry methods and holsters and pocket pistol specific drills and shooting tips. If you're already sick of hearing me talk about pocket pistols, that's okay. We can still be friends. I plan on taking plenty of breaks along the
way to look at some completely unrelated topics before we get to the end of this series. 22 Magnum, or more officially 22 Winchester Magnum rimfire, made its debut in the 1960s as a cartridge for hunting varmints and small game. Even though it's most effective when fired from a rifle, revolvers chambered for 22 Magnum have been around as long as the cartridge itself. These revolvers have been used for hunting, for pest control, and for target shooting, but more recently, they usually take the form of concealable, lightweight snub-nose revolvers intended for personal protection. There is also one semi-auto 22 Magnum in current production, the Kel-Tec PMR-30. Its claim to fame is a magazine with an impressive 30-round capacity, but its viability as a serious self-defense tool is questionable. Since it's basically a full-size pistol anyway, it does not fit into our pocket pistol series, so I will save my critique of that one for another day. A modern 22 mag snubby typically gives you 6 or 7 shots in the same size package that would normally hold 5 rounds of 38 special or 8 rounds of 22 long rifle. That makes the 22 Magnum an interesting compromise between those other two cartridges. But is it the best of both worlds, or is it the worst? Out of a 2-inch barrel, 22 Magnum makes a lot of noise, but the actual felt recoil is barely more than a 22 long rifle. So it's a lot easier to control effectively than a 38, which is especially important for a lightweight revolver. But another trait the 22 mag shares with a 22 long rifle is the rimfire primer, and along with that comes more frequent ignition failures. On average, the quality of 22 Magnum ammunition actually seems to be higher than that of 22 long rifle, but failures to fire due to light primer strikes are still common. Now, like I've mentioned several times before, with a revolver, that's not necessarily the end of the world. If the round doesn't go off, you just press the trigger again and fire the next round. But obviously, if you are relying on this gun for self-defense, the last thing you want is to get a click when you expect a bang. This 22 Magnum Ruger LCR that I've been using fails to fire about once every 25 rounds. Now, that's not normal for an LCR, and I do need to send the gun to Ruger and let them take a look at it. At the same time, it's not a surprising issue to run into with a rimfire, and it's something you don't usually have to worry about with a centerfire model. In order to help prevent these ignition problems, the gun makers use heavier springs in the rimfire revolvers, which in turn makes the triggers feel much heavier. I talked about this issue when I covered the 22 long rifle revolvers, and it's the same thing with the 22 Magnums. Most of the centerfire LCRs I have measured have triggers between 8 and 10 pounds. The trigger pull gauge maxes out at 12 pounds, but I would estimate this 22 Magnum to be around 14 pounds, which is heavy even by rimfire standards. With most of these guns, it is possible to swap out the factory springs for lighter springs. Every revolver is a little different, and sometimes the lighter springs work just fine, but for other guns, it might cause reliability problems. Ultimately, you can get a 22 Magnum revolver that will run very reliably, but it might take some luck or some experimentation with different brands of ammo, or even a trip back to the factory. And you still shouldn't expect it to be as reliable as a 38 or any other centerfire caliber version of the same model.
The ammo is super unreliable. They jam up like 1 in every 10, 15 shots is a misfire, a dud. So with the semi-auto, it's a pain in the ass jamming up every time.
22 long rifle, it can be easier to overlook the reliability because you can enjoy all of the benefits of dirt cheap ammo. But that's not quite the case with 22 Magnum. Based on current ammo prices, the average cost per round of 22 mag is about 4 times higher than 22 long rifle. It's roughly on par with the cost of 9mm. The good news is that 22 Magnum is still more affordable than 38 Special, which is usually priced about 60% higher still. You're probably not going to make a habit of burning through 500-round bulk packs of 22 Magnum in a single afternoon, but compared to anything other than 22 long rifle, the cost is really not bad at all. So then it all comes down to ballistics. Is 22 Magnum significantly more effective than 22 long rifle? 22 Magnum is known for being far more capable than you might expect such a small cartridge to be, but that legendary reputation is primarily built around hunting with 22 Magnum rifles. A shorter barrel takes away a lot of that punch. For example, the label on this box of 40 grain CCI Maxi-Mag hollow points claims a velocity of 1,875 feet per second. I have no doubt it can do that out of a rifle barrel, but with a 1 7/8 inch snub nose, it averages only 1,009 feet per second. That's 42% slower. So we can't expect rifle performance out of a 22 mag snubby, but let's see how it compares to 22 long rifle. The CCI Velociter is one of the faster 22 long rifle loads out there. It also has a 40 grain bullet, and out of a snub nose, I clocked it at 914 feet per second. So in this case, the Magnum is faster by 175 feet per second. I will be doing some more extensive velocity and ballistic testing with these calibers in the future, probably after we are done with everything else we want to cover in the pocket pistol series. For now, I did another quick informal ballistic gel test with a few 22 Magnum loads, just to get a basic idea of what effect this bump in velocity might have on terminal performance. Starting with 2 rounds of the CCI Maxi Mag, we got a penetration depth right around 15 inches. There was no expansion, which is not a surprise since these bullets were designed for much higher velocities. Looking back at our gel test of the 22 long rifle CCI Velociter from a few weeks ago, you can see that load only averaged around 11 inches of penetration. So a 19% increase in velocity got us a 36% increase in penetration depth, putting our 22 Magnum bullets well within the ideal 12 to 18 inch range. I also tested a couple of 22 Magnum loads from Hornady and Spear that are specifically designed for self-defense with short barrels. The Hornady Critical Defense box actually lists velocities for a 24-inch rifle and a 1 7/8-inch revolver. It says here to expect 1,000 feet per second, but my chronograph measured it a little faster than that at 11:05. In the gel test, the penetration depth was around 11 to 12 inches, and we did see a little bit of expansion. The 2 rounds of Spear Gold Dot I tested were moving along at 1,140 feet per second. They ended up right in between the other 2 loads at 13.5 inches and also had some nice expansion. So we've got what looks to be some pretty decent performance here. The penetration depths look very similar to what we were getting with some of our 38 special loads from our big test a while back. Of course, with the 38s, you've got the potential for a lot more expansion, and even if it does not expand, the bullets are much heavier and probably less likely to deflect if they hit bone. But the little 40 grain 22 Magnum seems to be punching far above its weight, especially when you consider the almost non-existent recoil. I'll admit that in the past I've been pretty quick to dismiss 22 Magnum because it does.
The CZ Model 512 22 Magnum semi-automatic rifle. Let's check it out.
That's a nice one.
mealtime match at a great price. Tiger is a ferocious hunter, and the best...
.22 Magnum is an excellent caliber for small game, for pests, and for smaller predators. It's one of those guns that just does a lot in the rimfire line that gets way above your .22 long rifle. It mimics a lot of the energy of a 9mm, so you do have some ballistic capability. But one of the problems with semi-automatic in the .22 Magnum has been reliability. The CZ has designed the Model 512, which has proven to be very reliable. This is the American model, which is a brand new model. It features the walnut stocks over the beechwood stock, but there's also a synthetic model. And the balance on this rifle, the quality is just excellent, but the reliability is top-notch. Out of about 400 rounds that we fired through this rifle, we had 0 malfunctions. So whether you're looking for a .22 long rifle or a .22 Magnum, CZ is making some really high-quality rifles. First thing we'll do is make sure the gun is unloaded. We're going to release the magazine, check the chamber, and it's empty. Finding a good semi-automatic .22 Magnum is almost like a holy grail. Ruger put out their 1022 and 22 Magnum, had a lot of problems with them. They discontinued them, and there have been a lot of other companies, even in handgun form, trying to make 22 Magnum work. That's one of the things about CZ with the 512 series, not only for the 22 long rifle, but their 22 WMR, and with the blowback action and beautiful gun. I mean, CZ makes great quality firearms anyway. And now with the American version, which has upgraded walnut stock, it just really has a great feel to it. Now, the American version does not have sights. If you really want the sights, you can get the standard 512 series. But it does come with one of the 11 millimeter rimfire rails, and we're going to attach some rings to this and put a scope on it. But I wanted to show it before I got the scope on here. The action is really smooth. And of course, with 22 rimfire, typically, there's not a lot of recoil. The recoil springs are fairly light. We've got a smooth action. The magazine has a little catch right here, and it comes right out. That's one of the things, too, about rimfire rifles typically is it's a little bit of a trick to pull your magazine out. But with the CZ, it's really easy. It's a 5-round polymer magazine. They do have steel magazines available if you really want to go that route. But this seems to be really a smooth feeding magazine. And it is fairly flush fit with 5 rounds. Now, if you want to go with 10 rounds, which they do offer a 10-round magazine as well, they go in, and it does hang out just a little bit at the bottom. It gives you those extra rounds with 22 Magnum. It has an aluminum upper receiver, which is 7075 T6 aluminum, a very high grade. The lower is a polymer lower, and it incorporates a trigger guard, but your trigger and your safety are metal. You have your charging handle. It's just a small black charging handle. It pulls back really easily. Now, the standard 512 comes with a beechwood stock. This is a walnut and has a beautiful grain to it. And then we have checkering right here at the pistol grip. Here at the forearm, very narrow, checkering all the way down. The wood is just gorgeous. And it does come with a sling swivel, which you can attach a bike pot here as well. With the older beechwood stocks, it came to more of an angle right here. This is rounded off. Very nice. I mean, this rifle, just pulling it out, it's just a beautiful, very streamlined rifle. Plastic butt pad with the CZ logo. It has checkering on here to keep it on your shoulder. And also sling swivel here at the back. Now, the original version, if the gun was on safe, you couldn't bring the charging handle all the way back or the bolt back, but they went ahead and relieved that. A lot of people were complaining because if you have it on safe, you can't pull your charging handle back, and you have to get it on fire. That is a little bit of a safety issue, so CZ fixed that. Comes right back. Now, on an empty magazine, it will not hold the bolt open, but that's typical for a lot of your 22 rimfires. The barrel is cold hammer forged, which is really high quality. It's going to give you a lot of barrel life. It is a 20.5-inch barrel. Overall length is just under 40 inches at 39.3 inches. And the weight on the rifle without the scope and without the sights is about 5 pounds, 12 ounces according to my scale. We're going to check trigger pull. A little bit of take up. Nice little snap. This trigger is very smooth. There is no creep, nothing. I mean, it's smooth and then it breaks. Not the sharpest break, like a really fine pistol. That's nice. Very nice. Check reset. Right there. Yeah, and no over travel at all. Now we're going to check the trigger pull weight. 3 pounds, 9.5 ounces.
Quý vị có biết 70% bệnh nhân xương khớp nếu không điều trị đúng cách sẽ phải thay khớp nhân tạo. Đối với người bị bệnh xương khớp, tôi chỉ định điều trị bằng đông y. Đây chỉ là giải pháp tạm thời. và có thể gây biến chứng nặng, bệnh tiến triển không?
Pounds, 9.5 ounce.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Hive. We're back here today. We've got a channel favorite with us here. This is the Rossi RS22M. This is the semi-auto 22 Magnum long rifle that Rossi put out a few years back, and it has by far been one of the most popular videos that I have done to date. It's just been an absolute blast of a rifle to shoot. Very, very nice entry-level price point. Been very reliable. They've had hardly any issues at all with it, to be brutally honest. I mean, you get the occasional failure to feed or failure to extract, but it is a semi-automatic rimfire, so it's kind of to be expected. Got just a cheap 3.9 scope on it, the factory continued rail. It's just been great. Now, if you remember back to my original videos on this, I did cut this barrel down to 16.5 inches from its original 21-inch length. It's just made it an absolute pleasure to shoot. Really, really compact, easy to maneuver, and as you guys know, these rifles take Rossi polymer 10-round detachable box mags. Now, you can actually find these again. I did pick up a few extra ones finally, and they ran great. Again, this is a semi-auto rimfire, so it's not going to be 100%. There's none of them that's going to be 100%. There are some close, and I'd say this one is actually pretty darn close. It is very seldom ever had a malfunction. So, but I've got a few mags loaded up. I just wanted to do just an update video on this, kind of bring it back in front of you guys in case anybody else had any questions. But let's put some shots on steel and see how it goes. So, again, as I said, 10-round mags, shooting CCI maxi mag. Just eat them up, guys. Eat them up. So, yeah, trying to give you an idea of what I've been shooting. Just the regular CCI Maxi Mag. You can see this here, but it's the jacketed hollow points. You can find at Walmart, 1,875 feet per second. 40 grain, it runs. But, one of the cool things about this rifle that I've really seen is the fact that the price point is just awesome. I mean, they're not that expensive, and let me tell you, it turns it into an absolutely brand new gun. You get
the question that I get a ton is, should I use a 22 LR, 22 Magnum, or 17 HMR when I'm going hunting? Every one of them is used for a different application. So in this quick video, I want to tell you what specific uses I use for each and every caliber. Let's first start with the 22 LR. There's so many different kind of CCI munitions out there that it's a great choice for small game. Everything from groundhog hunting to squirrel hunting, prairie dog, things of that nature. It's a much cheaper round to shoot than that of a 17 HMR or a 22 Magnum. However, the problem is this. Sometimes you need a little bit more range, and sometimes you need a little bit more knockdown power depending on the game that you're hunting. If you need a little bit more energy and a little bit more distance, I always tell people to go with the 22 Magnum. It's going to be almost 100 foot-pounds more energy than that of a 17 HMR. But if you need to make those longer shots at 200, 250, or even 300 yards on a prairie dog, a small varmint, the 17 HMR will get the job done. If you're hunting larger sized game, such as coyotes, badgers, or raccoons, you're going to need something with a little bit more energy. If you're going to be taking those animals 125 yards, that's when I would pick up the 22 Magnum. I hope I've cleared things up with the 17 HMR versus the 22 Magnum in hunting applications. CCI offers a ton of different ammunition to use when you're small game size hunting. 17 HMR and 22 Magnum have a place in my rimfire collection.
NYCM Insurance mobile app offers customers instant access to policy information at their fingertips.
We tested every major 22 Magnum pistol on the market in 2025, and the results flipped everything we thought we knew. The expected champs fell short. One dark horse rose from the shadows. It's not the Ruger, Not the Keltec, not even the Taurus. The real king of 22 mag in 2025? You won't believe which one claimed the throne. Let's uncover the surprise. Number 10, FN502. Tactical the FN502. Tactical isn't just the first point. 22LR from FN. It's the industry's first slide-mounted, optics-ready rimfire handgun that's ever existed. Designed for maximum fun, FN's hammer-fired .2. 2LR delivers more accuracy and versatility than any other rimfire. Mounting a favorite red dot optic and a wide range of .2 2LR ammo makes a low-cost range day a high-end experience. Inspired by FN's patented low-profile optics mounting system, the FN502 Tactical offers unmatched sighting options, and co-witness front and rear sights align perfectly with your .15 round high-capacity magazine. Single-action hammer, the superior ergonomics, proven balance, and ambidextrous controls. All a nod to the FN502's bigger brother, the FN509, make it perfect for high round count training sessions. Like a robust target-style rimfire pistol, the design of the FN502 Tactical delivers faster, more accurate shots on target from a modern, optics-ready tactical pistol. Number 9. Ruger SR22. The Ruger SR22, or SR22P, is a compact semi-automatic pistol manufactured by Sturm, Ruger & Company, chambered for the .22 long rifle rimfire cartridge. SR22 is mainly targeted at plinking and competition shooting. In fact, it is more similar to the Walther P22 than a Ruger SR series pistol. The SR22 comes only in compact size, although recently, a 4.5-inch, 11 cm barrel version, model 3620, was released. The SR22 has a straight back-type action and features a stainless steel barrel that is fixed to the frame. Furthermore, the SR22 features a double-action SAR single-action trigger system with a rounded spur external hammer and has a visual inspection port in the form of a hole in the top of the slide and the back of the barrel that functions as a loaded chamber indicator. The pistol is very lightweight thanks to its aluminum slide and polymer frame, and also comes with interchangeable rubber grips for different sized hands. The SR22 started to ship in January 2012 and is shipped with 2 single-stack 10-round magazines and replaceable grips for small or large hands. The Ruger SR22 is equipped standard with an ambidextrous thumb safety decocking lever and magazine release. 2 interchangeable hand grips are offered, one in slim and the other in wide Malmswell format. It is also equipped with a Picatinny rail on the frame below the barrel and in front of the trigger guard. Number 8. Keltec CP33. The .22 target pistol market needed an update, so we answered the call with the CP33CP, stands for competition pistol, and 33, well, it holds a staggering 33 rounds in each magazine, right out of the box. Equipped with a Picatinny style top rail and a mag PO lock slot built into the dust cover, the CP33 is ready to accept different optics and accessories. Train, compete, plink, and repeat. If you'd like to do it quietly, simply attach your favorite .22 suppressor, as ambi as this handgun can be. The CP33 offers a safety lever on both sides of the grip, a heel catch magazine release, and a unique charging handle located at the back of the receiver. Adjustable fiber optic sights, 9-inch sight radius, and threaded barrel come standard, making short work of bullseyes and paper bad guys. The CP33 magazines are quite the engineering feat. Generally, the term quad stack refers to magazine carriers. Not here. Each CP33 magazine holds 4 rows of .22 LR, allowing for serious flush-fit firepower. That's 66 rounds of fun right out of the box. Number 7.
This is Buick, now. Buick, exceptional by design. Current eligible GM lessees get this ultra-low mileage lease on this 2026 Buick Enclave Preferred for around $499 per month. estate to feel like a holiday.
Hi guys, welcome.
It matters where you stay. Book your holiday stay with Hilton. Hilton for the stay.
Number 7, Browning Buck Mark Plus Vision. The modern Buck Mark made its debut in 1985, and the current line has around 40 different standard models, plus 18 limited guns with upgrades such as a muzzle brake or advanced sights. The gun shown above, the Browning Buck Mark Plus Vision UFX, Black Dog Gold Suppressor Ready model, 720, is one of the latter. Like all guns in the Buck Mark line, it is blowback in operation, light and trim. The steel barrel gets a gold Cerakote treatment and is just a hair short of a full 6 inches, actually 5.87, surrounded by a tensioned outer, scalloped aluminum sleeve with a removable muzzle brake to add a suppressor if desired. The checkered magazine release is located behind the gold-plated trigger, and with the assistance of a spring-loaded plunger on the base of the grip frame, it ejects the 10-round magazine from the gun with enthusiasm. The form-fit trigger breaks at just under 4 pounds, with a minimal amount of creep. No matter the model, Buckmark pistols make for a fine hunting, varmint, or target gun, and this one has Number 6, Sig Sauer P32 2-Co-MP 22 LR SIG. Sauer's P32 2 is a .22 caliber rimfire pistol, styled like the very popular P365 XL. First introduced in Guns and Ammo's June 2022 issue, the latest version is the P322-Co-MP. Though the pistol would be suitable for rimfire competition, it should have broader appeal. Like the standard P322, the P322-Co-MP features a 4-inch barrel and is supplied with either 2 10-round or a 20 and 25-round magazine, depending on jurisdiction. The barrel appears longer than standard due to the recoil-reducing compensator attached to the barrel, hence the name. Unlike the standard P322, the comp includes a Romeo Zero Elite Red Dot Optic, slide racker, extended magazine release, and an oversized takedown lever with a thumb rest. The P322 looks like the striker-fired P365 XL, but engineers had to make certain concessions to ensure reliability with the much weaker point 22LR cartridge. The slide of the P322 is machined from aluminum to reduce weight, and the P322 does not use a striker-fired operating system.
We're running out of cat food again. Luckily, my wife set us up with Chewy Auto Ship. It shows up right when Ben and Bo are running low. They go...
Hey everybody, how you doing? This is about to be a really fun video. Out at the range today with heavy metal, and for this video I'm going to be shooting my 22 mag at 100 yards. I recently did a video sighting in my 17 HMR at 100 yards. Tons and tons of you guys, hundreds, the comments went crazy of you guys said shoot your 22 mag at 100 yards, and I've never done it. We filmed quite a few videos on 22 mag. My Savage here is a model 93 22 mag. Not an expensive rifle by any means, synthetic stock. It's one of the more cheaper 22 mag rifles you can get, but I've never had any issues out of it. And you guys said, hey, can you shoot that at 100 yards? I said, sure, let's do it, make a quick video. But I'll show you the rifle and the ammo up close here, and then we're going to go back to 100 yards and start bringing some bullets. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Alright, so like I said, out here in the bright, bright Tennessee sun, this is my Savage model 93 22 mag or 22 WMR for some of you guys who like to be weird and call it that. And the ammo that I'll be shooting here is some normal ammo. This is some 40 grain hollow point stuff. Always run good for me, normally in general, which always is fantastic for me and does good groups, but I've never shot this setup at 100 yards. This is just a pretty budget-friendly Bark scope that came on it when I bought it, but we'll see what happens. Take out the Savage 93 back to 100 yards, sling some of that normally. said, I've never shot this at 100 yards, but I'm pretty sure we'll be able to do okay. That thing has a decent trigger. Let's go find out what we can do with it. Hopefully get some hitting the same hole. Alright, I just sat out on this bench out here and it collapsed on me, so if I miss all these shots, it's because I'm sitting on this broken down bench. But 100 yards down here, got this camera zoomed in at 100. I think this rifle sighted in at 25, so I have no idea where it's going to hit. And this is only a 9-power scope. Some of y'all said, I use my 9-power scope to shoot 5,000 yards. I bet you do, buddy. But I'm going to hold bullseye here and see where this hits. Then we'll adjust it. Getting a little low at 100. Low and left, I think. So let's do some clickies. I know y'all love the clickies. Might need a screwdriver or a knife. Oh. Which one's up and which one's down? Need to come right, so let's crank her to the right. I think it's this way. And let's crank her up some. Which way's up? This is up this way. Alright. Now let's see where she hits now. Oh, I didn't load one. There's no mag in there. Don't tell me I dropped my mag somewhere. Hold on. Oh, yep, this thing's gonna fall apart. But, yeah, that's a major buzzkill. I lost the mag to this rifle somehow walking out here and just spent 30 minutes looking for it. But I'm gonna have to order another one. I bet you those mags are about $37,000. Not to mention the 5 bullets that were in there. Shoot, that's probably worth $1,000 right now. Anyways, we're gonna keep shooting this 22 mag and just shoot it like a single shot, I suppose. If I can get my big old fingers in there. Yeah, there went one. Let's shoot this one after all those clicks, see what happened.
A bad job of weed control can cost me anywhere from $50 to $100 an acre in hand weeding. And the right tool at the right time can reduce that $100 whole bill down to $25.
My name is Kayla Van Zils. This is my father, Carl Pepper, and today we're out here in Borden County, which is in West Texas. We have a 3,600 acre organic cotton farming operation, and we're in the middle of it right now.
2010, 12, somewhere in there, I got to watch it.
It works either way. That's
German finger weeder deal,
I'm
and
gonna
I'm
flip
like,
them
I
over
need
so
that.
bad
I
won't
tried
go
to
down
source that and figuring out the international stuff. I gave up. Late 17, I was perusing either YouTube or the internet, and I found Fillmore. And I'm like, they got it. They got it. So we ordered one set and started playing with them on a rigid mount deal on our cultivators. Kind of tore that up and modified, went to a spring load system, and then have gone to Doll's full unit and on our last 2 cultivators that we rigged, and we're just really pleased with the percentage of weeds that y'all finger weeder has allowed us to
A little bit high and right. A little bit less clicks on there. Which way's down? I went 3 clickies down. I actually counted those. For all y'all wondering, I've already given her all the zooms at 9 power. Yeah, this rifle was not meant for loading a pin like this. A lot easier with the mag. Let's take shot number 3 here. think I need a better scope on this thing. I have recently become a little bit more of a scope snob. But, that one hit a little bit right. Let's go ahead and crank her to the left a little more. See where this one hits. Do my best here. Alright, that hit one of the other holes, but that was before an adjustment. Let's come down a little bit more and left a little bit more. Too clear to the left, and how much down should we do? Let's go 2 down. Let's see where this one hits. Tell you what, this single shooting them is kind of faint. Probably save us some ammo though. Take one more, and then we'll go to a clean plate. That one hit right too. That one might be me. I'm gonna go ahead and click her some more to the left. I might have adjusted that last one the wrong way, I can tell you the truth. I don't know, but let's move it over to a clean plate and see what kind of group we can get here. Let's shoot like 5 rounds. Let's do 6, because that's how many I dumped out of the bucket here. Hitting that up and right there, but I'm going to go ahead and shoot this 6-shot group. Getting the hang of this loading now. Might not even need a mag, huh? This one look good. This one might be just as good as my 17 HMR, maybe. Really need that mag. Dadgummit. So I think that was 6 shots with this setup. Let's run down there and see what kind of group we got with 6 shots. There was our first hit there, then made a couple adjustments and got her kind of close.
Introducing business essentials from U.S. Bank with no monthly maintenance fee checking and card payment processing.
Thanks, you. No one really talks about it.
We have 25 disappearances. 7 confirmed deaths. Mostly children.
What exactly are we looking for? Something that was buried in Derry a long time ago.
I'll be comparing these 2 cartridges on 5 different targets to find out if the 5.7 is really just a glorified 22 Magnum. My first question is whether there's really a big difference in velocity. The answer is yes. Let's see how this difference translates on the targets though, but first... Alright, which one's gonna win, buddy? 22 mag? That's pretty ballsy for somebody without, well, you know what. But anyway, on to our first test. Up first, we have a railroad tie. No, I'm just kidding. We actually have a piece of 6x6 pressure-treated lumber, as you probably already knew, and it'll be followed by a 3/4-inch piece of plywood. 2 shots from each cartridge, and I believe we are good to go. Based on previous testing, I honestly couldn't tell you what's going to happen, but I don't think it's looking for the 22 mag. We'll see, though. Let me tell you, it was really hard to see where I was hitting with all these black spots everywhere. I actually clipped off on the first shot, but I got 2 to land about an inch spacing, if I had to guess, maybe a little bit more. Let's check out the back, though, and see. Oh, that's different. Okay, well, I guess one of them poked out somewhere. And, oh, didn't have much kinetic energy, obviously, so the bullet must be around here somewhere. Oh, is that it? Oh, my gosh. Barely freaking deformed at all. I mean, the nose is a little bit deformed, but that's it. And what's weird is that it's a total metal jacket instead of the full metal jacket that they claim on the box.
don't know if I need to start painting the face of this white too. I mean, I couldn't see where I was hitting. But anyway, I got 2 to land right here towards the bottom of the thing, about the same spread as E22 Magnum. Now let's turn it around. And there's absolutely nothing on the back. What is going on, man? That is crazy. Well, actually, okay, never mind. It looks like one of them deviated in the wood. The other one, though, definitely did not go through. Let's try one more shot and we'll see what happens. Hopefully a little higher up this time. Alright, there we go. That's a much better shot placement. Now let's, well, much better if we didn't want it to deviate out the bottom, I guess. Let's see what, oh, that's a tiny hole. Let's see what, oh, okay. Oh, yeah, we definitely have a winner. Let's go ahead and get this trash out of here. Someone say trash? Wait, what was that? It is I, Exothermic Man. Exothermic Man, what are you doing here? I'm here to break in my new exothermic LRT on your trash, of course. No. Okay, fine. And with up to 25 feet of range, I don't have to be anywhere close to your trash. Wait, so your only superpower is that you have a flamethrower? Now's not a good time. I seem to have run out of fuel. Luckily, with a quick fill of gasoline, I will have 27 more seconds of pure fun burning up my arch nemesis. And with a rechargeable battery powering everything, fighting trash has never been easier. Well, I hope you weren't needing that block for anything. No, don't worry about it. Until next time, Banana Ballistics, and remember to use code ACC20 at checkout so you can get 20% off your purchase to help fight trash with me, Exothermic Man. Away! What just happened? Actually, I think I'm going to keep this in here. What are the chances they're going to go through the sandbox anyway? Let's do the flip. Okay. Did anybody order a 6-inch box filled completely with sand? No? Okay, good. Well, I was going to use it for a target anyway, but now I don't feel so bad about it. Okay, in reality, I don't think either one of these are going through, but you never know. I mean, they're pretty low velocity, so they have a chance. Let's see what happens. There's the hole. Now let's turn it around, and we will see if there's a second one. No, there is not a second hole on the back. How crazy is that? I figured it probably wasn't going through, but the 5.7, now that, I think, has a pretty good chance.
The AARP aisle, where every shelf is packed with perks just for you, from hotel and other travel deals to health fitness tips and financial resources. It's super simple. Grab your AARP membership today. Restaurants, up to 15% off. Hotels, up to 10% off. Car rentals,
basically the same spot as the 22 mag, but the only reason I know that is because I forgot to put some freaking tape on here. But let's turn it around, see if my prediction was correct. No, it definitely was not correct. That 300 blackout is literally the only thing that I don't even know. So I'd say this round is definitely a draw. Alright, let's get you out of here. Let's get you, I guess, we're not reusing you. And let's put you guys up here for later. We'll do the flip. Alright. And we just need one more thing. These wings. Yeah, I got a bad feeling about this one. Not about anything coming back at me like you would probably think, but whether or not the bullets can actually get through 1.5 inches of solid concrete and then potentially get to a 3/4 inch piece of plywood. I probably should be a little more worried about something coming back at me though. But who would be scared with a state-of-the-art shield like this one? Yeah, I know it has holes in it. I'll be honest, that was a bit more eventful than I thought it would be, especially out of a handgun, but let's see what the damage was. Okay, so obviously it did not go through, and if we can put Humpty Dumpty back together again, it didn't go through. I think that's the verdict. Onto the 5.7, though I'm not too sure that it's going to do much better than that. We'll see. That one was definitely more eventful, but let's put the pieces back together, because I'm not super convinced that it went much deeper than the 22 Magnum. Give me a minute. Well, that was a pain in the ass. I put it all back together. Well, not all the little pieces and everything, but all the major pieces that I could find, and it did a lot more than the 22 Magnum. Obviously, it didn't get to the 3/4 inch piece of plywood, but I think I'm going to go with the 5.7 on this one, and I'm not even going to attempt to look for the bullet. It's probably 1 million pieces, too.
Alright, Mr. Unislit, I will be taking this off your hands, and you need to get out of the way, please. Don't worry, I'll move you, though. Alrighty, that was loud. Time for Steel Slit 4.2. Alrighty, we are good. Wait, but you don't usually shoot steel with handguns. I know. Supposedly the 5.7 is somewhat effective on soft armor plates, but on mild steel, I'm not so convinced. That's why we'll be starting with an 8-inch piece of mild steel. Let's get after it. Alrighty, I think we are looking good. Guys, I'm being 100% serious. Do not try this at home. Oh, I'm still in one piece, and that one barely did anything to the steel. I mean, there's a slight dent, and you can see a portion of the bullet is stuck in there. I mean, let's see if I can get... Oh, there we go. Okay, so it looks like most of it is lead, and then a portion of it is copper. That's pretty cool. And the dent definitely got a little deeper, but still nowhere close to going through. And now onto the 5.7. I'm a little more worried about this one. Oh, I'm still in one piece, and that is a pretty impressive hole right there. It looks like it was barely going through, and it's definitely not passing the pinky test, but it did go through an 1/8 inch of mild steel. I think we definitely have a winner on this round. And no, I am not shooting any more steel. Alright, get Steel Slit 4.2 out of the way. We got one more test to go. Okay, see, what did I tell you? It barely went through, but that is a pretty cool looking exit. Guys, if you would hit the like button, I would really appreciate it. Unislit, you're needed for one more test. Now get back there, and I'm not helping this time. That last one wasn't enough proof for you, then how about some ballistic gel? Wait, Terry, get out of the way. I swear, every single time I say ballistic gel, but anyway, here is our block of ballistic gel. It was sent to me by Clear Ballistics for another test, but I'm glad that I'm getting a second use out of it, so thank you to Clear Ballistics for sending that over. And this time I'll be using some VMAXs, but how fast are they going? Good question. Even with a 10 grain lighter bullet, the 22 mag still doesn't touch the velocity of the 5.7, but how will they compare on ballistic gel? In case you're curious, that Garmin chronograph is freaking awesome, but there's one downside, and that's that you need about 20 yards for it to register the bullet, which is only really a problem if you're someone like me shooting ballistic gel at 5 feet. Other than that, it's freaking awesome. Alright, there's where the shot landed. Now let's check out the wound channel. Oh, holy shit. Look at that wound channel. That is freaking massive. I don't know what...
The NYCM Insurance mobile app offers customers instant access to policy information at their fingertips. Download the link.
Massive. I don't know what... Okay, it doesn't look like the bullet actually fragmented. It's because the bullet tumbled through there. You can actually see the red tip in the wound path. But the bullet was able to make it to about the 15-inch mark, if I had to guess. That is freaking nuts. It looks like it took a while for it to start tumbling as well. Can the 5.7 do better than that? I would be pretty dang impressed. See that tiny little pinhole right there? That is where the 5.7 entered. Now let's see what the wound channel looks like. Okay, it looks almost identical. Well, not quite identical to the 22 Magnum, but it looks very similar. You can actually see the blue two pieces of the tip. I don't know what's going on there. Let's check out and see if we can find the bullet, though. Okay, there's the 22 mag. And I'm not seeing a bullet anywhere. There is an exit hole, though. Let's see if we can find the bullet somewhere around here. Okay, guys, I think I found the bullet. It did not have much kinetic energy coming out of there, but look at that right there. It definitely does not have enough velocity to fragment, as you can see. But it did lose its tip, and I think that's what caused it to tumble. Mainly because the tip is right where it started tumbling. Let's head back to the bench and do a little bit more investigation, though. And Terry, what are you still doing on the ground, you lazy torso? Anyway, it's time to torch. Other than the 5.7 going the entire
entire way through the block, and it really didn't have much kinetic energy coming out. The results were pretty much identical, and both bullets held their original bullet weight, so I'm going to call this one a draw. So, is the 5.7 really just a glorified 22 Magnum? I think it's pretty safe to say no, but is it really worth 2 to 3 times the price? I'll let you be the judge of that.
What are you doing?
I'm going to compare these 3 cartridges on 5 different targets to find out which one is the superior rimfire cartridge on this episode of Ultimate Barrier Testing. But first things first, how fast are these bullets going? I'll tell you what, I am not impressed by any of those standard deviations, but let's ask Terry his opinion. Point blank. Terry, with all these ballistic tests under your belt, well, metaphorically, which cartridge do you think is going to win? 22 Magnum! For once I actually agree with you. Let me know which one you think is going to win, though, and let's get this testing started off. Here at Banana Ballistics, we treat all cartridges the same, which is why I'll be sticking with a 6x6 piece of pressure-treated lumber, even though these are some of the smallest cartridges you can currently get, but you already know the drill. 2 shots from each cartridge, and I think we're good to go. I really don't think that any of these cartridges are going to go through, but at the same time, I'm going to be pretty disappointed if at least one of them doesn't go through, if that makes any sense. To the left, the 22 LR, let's see if it was good. No, definitely not. How about that 17 though? I'm not sure, but I think I may have seen a little something through the scope. The holes are just so tiny it's hard to tell, but let's check out the back. Oh, let's see what happened. Holy shit. Straight through the 3/4 inch piece of plywood. I mean, come on, guys. The 10mm couldn't even go through this whole entire block. Freaking 17 HMR is beating some rifle rounds. Can you believe that? I mean, I can't, but let's see what the 22 Magnum does. Kept the same line going. Well, I never said it was a straight line, but let's check out the back. Surely the 22... Oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding me. The 17 HMR punched right through the 22 Magnum. There's nothing in sight. Freaking nothing on the 3/4 inch piece of plywood. If one was going to go through, I thought for sure that it was going to be the 22 Magnum. That 17 is something else. I thought the outcome would be a little different, but there's no denying those results. Alright, you need to move out of the way, trash. Actually, you know what? There really isn't that much damage to this one. Let's go ahead and keep it, and then do the old flip. Okay, Okay, let me straighten that up a bit. And I think we're good to go. For this round, we have a bit of a doozy. Sand trap, that's right, 6 inches of solid sand. Based on previous testing, it would be a miracle if either of these cartridges, if any of these cartridges went through. But we'll check it out. And yes, that is a new box of sand to replace the unspeakable that happened last time. And you want to know something else unspeakable? I have had my credit card info stolen at least 5 times within 4 years in the past. I'm not even joking, and it was freaking frustrating. But the crazy thing is that I have an idea of how they did it, and apparently it's perfectly legal. Data brokers. Data brokers sell your information to whoever wants it, and getting this information is one of the first steps a scammer takes towards accessing all of your accounts. And when your info is exposed, the best case scenario is just a bunch of extra spam. But if something like this can happen to me, it could literally happen to anyone. Luckily, thanks to this video sponsor, Aura. From before, so let's move on to the 22 Magnum, huh? Rimfire taps. Say it's definitely in the mix. Now let's turn it around and see absolutely nothing on the back with this one either. Not what we expected, or about what I expected anyway. So round number 2 is a tie as far as I can tell. So let's do a little cleaning up. Actually, these are going to be pretty useful. And then we'll do the flip, and I think we are good to go. Hold that thought. We got to add the wings, which are very freaking rusty at this point. I'm just telling you right now, these cartridges will not go through much concrete at all. But let's see if they can do anything. Nothing. Terry, I don't want to hear another word out of your mouth. Let's see if they can do anything to these 1.5 inch thick papers made of solid concrete. I think we are good to go. And that's a perfect example of why you should never trust your life to rimfire cartridges. That mini mag, which is super reliable, didn't go off the first time. I mean, it went off the second time, but still. And we got a whole bunch of nothing. Terry, I said not another word. So, let's see what that 17 HMR can do, huh? With that, Hawk, shut up! Thank you. I think we are good to go. Don't have anything to say about those results, huh, Terry? Oh, that is way better than I was thinking. Well, maybe it's not. Maybe it's the block, actually, I think. Probably didn't actually go that much deeper than the 22. Never mind, it went a lot deeper. But anyway, let's get that 22 Magnum all set up. That was easy.
Ultima Replenisher. Full of feel-good electrolytes. No sugar, calories, or carbs. Everybody's favorite, everyday electrolytes.
Out of the 3, that one definitely appeared to do the most damage, but let's check out the result. I actually don't know if that's the deepest. Let's compare it to the 17 HMR here. Yeah, well, let me turn it to where you can see it. The 17 HMR, I believe, went a little bit deep. I don't know. It might be a tie. Let me go back to the bench and do that real quick. Well, after I do all the rest of the test. They tied. Well, Unisled, it's time to get out of here. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Oh, the wings actually stayed in this time. And let's grab Steel Sled 4.2. This thing is an absolute beast. I think we're good, Terry. You are not in a splash zone. I don't want to hear anything about it. The nerve of some ballistic torsos, huh? And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Wait, what? You like the concrete better? Well, I didn't ask. We're moving on to mild steel, and this blade right here does not come up too often. This is an 1/8 inch of mild steel, and the funny thing is, I don't even know if they could go through this, but let's check it out. Man, I'm really gonna have to turn this one down. Alright, that should be tight enough. Obviously it didn't go through, but let's see. I mean, there's a little bit of a dent, but we're going to need a lot more to get through this. And I'm thinking that the 17 HMR might do the trick, but we'll see. Guys, if you wouldn't mind, I'd really appreciate if you hit the like button and subscribe. Yep, that is a nice clean hole, one of the smallest I've ever seen, and that is definitely not passing the pinky test. But let's see what the 22 Magnum can do. And no dice, although it went a lot deeper than the 22, and you can see that it is a jacketed bullet instead of the copper washed one like the 22, but still no dice. So I was waiting to break these bullets out to the next round, but I think I'm going to break them out now to see if they compete with the 17 HMR. These are some super high velocity loads for each of the 22 cartridges, and based on these velocities, I think they have a better chance of getting through the steel, but we'll just have to see. It definitely hit a little higher than I was aiming, but let's check out. Guys, I really can't tell the difference between the depths on these two. That is insane. I mean, I guess it was because it was a hollow point. I don't know. Realistically, I wasn't thinking that that one was going to go through, but I am legitimately thinking that the 22 Magnum will. So let's see. What did I tell you? Look at that clean hole right there. Definitely not as clean as the 17 HMR, but I really don't care. It went straight through. We are moving on up. And we need to get you out of the way, sir. Or ma'am. And then there were two, and we are moving straight on up to 3/16 of an inch of mild steel. I really don't think they have any chance of getting through this one, but you never know. Oh, it's gonna ruin the paint job, huh? Alright, I think we are looking good. I'm not a betting man, but I'm betting they're not going through. And it looks like so far I am correct. The 17 HMR got stopped cold. It left a pretty good gouge, though. I don't know if it's looking too good for the 22 Magnum, though. I'll tell you what, my shoulder is enjoying these rimfire cartridges for a change. Yeah, not quite on that one either. I think you know what that means, huh? Actually, you know what I just remembered is that I have another 17 HMR cartridge that's faster than the other one, but it's a hollow point. Still, let's shoot it at the steel real quick. Yeah, still nothing. So now we can head back to the bench. It's time to wait a second. There's nothing to grind. Well then, I guess it's time to measure. It's just not as fun to say. Alright, so the deepest point on the 17 HMR was 89 thousandths. The absolute deepest point on the 22 Magnum was only 83 thousandths, so the 17 HMR definitely won. But also, the difference is less than the thickness of two pieces of paper stacked on top of each other, so I think I'm going to call this one a draw. Oh, and in case you're curious, the 17 HMR hollow point only penetrated 50 thousandths. Pretty terrible there. Well, Unisled, it looks like you're back in the game. And finally, we have... Terry, get out of the way. We have ballistic gel. This one should be pretty interesting because I'm going to fire an FMJ and a hollow point for each of the cartridges. So let's get to it. Okay, here are our two shots. The top one should be the round nose, and then the bottom one should be the stinger. Let's check out the wound path, though. It's kind of hard to see with this camera. It has some serious damage, and there's the bullet right in there. That is pretty good penetration. I mean, it's only about maybe 2.5 inches from the end. Let's see if we can find the other bullet. Is that something in there? Oh, it looks like the stinger. Man, look, that wound path is nothing compared to the round. Look, I guess it tumbled or something in there. That is a massive wound channel. The stinger, though, barely went halfway through the block, it looks like. I'm going to need to review the footage on that one because those are some crazy results, but we're moving on to the 17.
The Planet Fitness Black Card, you can bring a friend anytime, and so much more when you join today. Get all the perks with the PF Black Card for $1 down at $24.99 a month.
Join today and pay no dues until November 17th. Offer ends on...
Making powerful streaming TV campaigns. She starts with what matters most, the business goal. Vibe.co builds everything around it, with precise targeting that matches the outcome she's after. High intent, high performance, highly specific. Exactly who she wants to reach. Then she lets Vibe.co's AI handle the rest. 500 plus streaming TV apps, from entertainment, news, sports, to lifestyle. Curated inventory of every premium publisher all in one place for strategic delivery. Whether she uploads a finished spot or builds one with Vibe Studio, it's ready in seconds. And once she launches it, she can track key metrics like return on ad spend. From web analytics to MMM, she's connected to every tool that matters. Revenue, leads, incrementality. The premium status of TV with the precision of digital. Track, measure, grow. It just works.
I saw a puff of smoke come out of the block on that one. Let's see what happened. So here are two shots, pretty small, but the top one is the FMJ again, and then the bottom one. Now let's check out our wound channel though, and see, oh my gosh, these FMJs are freaking nuts with the wound channels that they're producing, and it looks like the bullet actually came out the side of the block here. It deviated a little from a straight line because it was tumbling, obviously, and it went out about the 15, maybe a little bit longer than that inch mark. The other one, though, it didn't barely go into the block, but it went about 7 inches if I had to guess, and it did a pretty decent number on the block as well. It's going to be a little easier to see later. One more time. Shots again. Top one is the FMJ, bottom one is the hollow point. Let's check out what the wound channels looked like. Okay, FMJ wound channel, and it penetrated straight in and straight out, just like me. And the hollow point, you can see that it started breaking up back here somewhere, but it still keeps looks like it landed right there. That is much better performance than any of the other hollow points, at least penetration-wise. It looks like the permanent wound cavity up here is pretty decent as well. But I think we need to head back to the bench and do a little bit more investigation. It's time to torch. Alright, so the leading edge on the 22LR Mini Mag was about 13 7/8 inches, and it actually had the widest wound channel, believe it or not, but boy did it take a while to get there. And keep in mind it was only in one direction. The Stinger penetrated about 8 3/4 inches, and it actually had a pretty decent wound channel, just not much penetration, kind of like me. The 17 HMR FMJ came out the side of the block like we already knew, but boy did it do some freaking damage. I mean, if you would have told me that the bullet would have tumbled, I would have never said that it would have went that far into the block, but it did quite a number. I am super impressed with that one. The hollow point, on the other hand, only went about 6 3/8 inches, which is terrible penetration, but it had some serious fragmentation at the beginning of that wound channel. The 22 Magnum FMJ or TMJ, whatever it is, it penetrated the whole way through the block. Like, it just zipped through that whole freaking block, which is pretty cool, but really didn't do that much damage. The hollow point, on the other hand, was the best performance of the day, coming in at 12.5 inches of penetration, which is super impressive, but it also left a pretty decent wound cavity the whole way through. So based on these results, I'm splitting it between the 17 HMR having the best FMJ performance and the 22 Magnum having the best hollow point performance. That 17 HMR is something else, and it's definitely the winner of this testing, but if it weren't for that freaking piece of pressure-treated lumber, the 22 Magnum really wasn't that far behind. And obviously the 22 LR wasn't really going to compete on most of the targets anyway, but it's also a fraction of the cost.
Treat.
Good boy. Alright, that's enough for the day.
Wait. I think it's time you get me pet insurance. Based on my extensive research, Lemonade Pet Insurance can save you up to 90% on vet bills. That could really help us both in an emergency. You know how much I like to snack on some street food while I walk. It's bad for my health, but you can't beat those unique flavor combinations.
Who programmed these?
Go to lemonade.com/pet and check it out. You can customize your policy to suit your budget and my needs. Do it now.
Wow, okay. This looks pretty nice.
Walk.
Not right now.
Walk. 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 Treat. Hungry. Walk. Treat. Walk. Hungry. I need to be.
power of 3 creams. All in one. Revitalift Triple Power by L'Oreal.
Would you like a shopping list full of benefits? Savings on gas and at restaurants and hotels. Plus,
You might think of the 22LR as a toy round or mere plinker, but there's nothing toy-like about its real impact in the field. From bringing down one of the largest grizzly bears ever recorded, to nearly taking the life of a heavily protected U.S. president, this cartridge has proven time and again that size alone doesn't determine lethality. In this video, we'll talk about why the humble 22LR might just be the most dangerous round in America, focusing on its surprising track record, its performance in modern testing, and the reasons so many people continue to overlook its true potential. Plenty of the 22LR as a beginner's choice, or a casual range option for some sessions. That's understandable when you factor in its low cost, gentle recoil, and long-standing presence in farm country barns, grandparents' gun cabinets, and kids' first rimfire rifles. Yet, the moment we dig a little deeper, a hidden reality emerges. This unassuming cartridge has been tied to pivotal incidents in history, used by criminals to commit murder, favored in some stealth operations, and embraced by those who appreciate its quietly effective capabilities. Let's begin with an account that defies expectations. A 63-year-old woman named Bella Twin took down a giant grizzly bear in 1953 with nothing more than a single-shot rifle chambered in .22 long, which is a little weaker than the 22LR. She was hunting small game with her partner in Alberta, Canada, when a monstrous grizzly wandered too close for comfort. Some say the distance between her and that bear was a handful of yards, while others say around 30 feet. Either way, the animal was near enough that she feared being mauled, and so she opted to take the shot. She aimed for what she knew to be a weaker spot in the bear's skull, pulled the trigger, and dropped the huge beast immediately. After that first shot, she reloaded the single-shot rifle multiple times to ensure the creature was truly finished. This incident wasn't just a stroke of luck. Bella was an experienced trapper who understood animal anatomy and could place her rounds with lethal precision. Imagine the practical implications here. A small, seemingly low-powered cartridge achieves something that many would assume requires a high-caliber rifle. That's not the only story of the 22's surprisingly deadly track record. Consider Trooper Mark Coates, a law enforcement officer who was on duty when he encountered a suspect carrying a tiny Derringer pistol. Coates himself was armed with a .357 Magnum, which most of us recognize as a serious defensive cartridge. Their interaction spiraled into violence, and Coates fired at the suspect several times, striking him 4 times in the torso. In a cruel twist, the suspect survived those .357 hits, while Coates, wearing a Kevlar vest, died from a single 22LR bullet that slipped through an unprotected spot. The ballistic advantage of the .357 didn't guarantee victory. The small rimfire round ultimately ended Coates' life. Such a heartbreaking event reminds us that shot placement and timing can trump raw power, especially when we least expect it. Let's not forget the Ronald Reagan assassination attempt. A lot of younger folks today probably don't realize the gun used in that 1981 incident was a Rum RG-14, a tiny .22LR revolver, one of those cheap little handguns people used to call Saturday night specials. Reagan was hit by a ricochet. The bullet bounced off the limo and still managed to slip in under his arm, nearly killing him. Just let that sink in. The President of the United States, almost taken out by a round people usually joke about as being good for nothing more than shooting rats. And it wasn't even a clean hit. Most of the bullet's energy had already been spent when it smacked into Reagan's limousine. That .22LR, traveling at a modest velocity, still managed to circumvent layers of security. It's not just the power of a round that matters. The angles, shot placement, and fate all come into play when a trigger is pulled. Before we move on, let me pause and ask, what do you think about these accounts? Do you believe folks underestimate the .22 because of its small size and gentle recoil? Or is there more to the story? I'd love to hear your opinions in the comments section below. As a strong supporter of our right to keep and bear arms, I'm always interested in exchanging ideas about how cartridges like the .22 play into real-world defensive scenarios. Continuing on, let's look at modern ballistics. A leading name in ammunition has taken .22 rimfire to the next level with Federal Punch. This load is specifically marketed for self-defense, which might have sounded odd 20 years ago, but makes more sense today. Federal Punch in 22LR is a 29-grain nickel-plated lead-core flat-nose design intended to maximize penetration from short handguns. Instead of aiming for expansion, which is often inconsistent with rimfire designs, Federal built this round to dig in deeply, meeting or surpassing the FBI's recommended penetration standards in many test scenarios. Recent field tests showcased how Federal Punch 22LR performs in ballistic gelatin when fired from multiple pistols, ranging from 2-inch barreled revolvers to 4-inch plus semi-autos. The Taurus 942 revolver with a 2-inch barrel clocked average velocities of around 1,005 feet per second and achieved an average penetration of roughly 15 inches. Meanwhile, a Ruger LCP-2 light rack with a 2.75-inch barrel reached about 1,123 feet per second and around 17 inches of penetration. Moving up to the SIG P322 with a 4-inch barrel saw velocities around 1,193 feet per second and penetration averages over 18 inches. Then there was the Ruger MK4 Light with a 4.4-inch barrel hitting around 1,238 feet per second and punching up to 21 or more inches into gel blocks. Every one of those setups showed 0 failures to feed or fire, and none of the bullets fragmented to the point of losing mass. Instead, they consistently retained weight and forged deep wound channels, which is a key factor when neutralizing a threat. Although these rounds don't mushroom, they create wound cavities that are by no means trivial. A temporary cavity of about 2 to 2.5 inches in diameter was observed during the first half dozen inches of gel travel, often spiraling tissue and potentially wreaking havoc on organs like the heart or lungs. Clothing barriers of 4 layers of shop towels didn't stop the bullets from reaching near the same depth, generally seeing only a minor loss of 1/2 inch to 1 inch in penetration. That's quite remarkable when you consider how many times we hear that 22LR go deep enough to stop a serious threat. Statistics from the ATF show that 22 long rifle is actually the 3rd most common crime gun caliber traced in the U.S., trailing behind only 9mm and 40 Smith & Wesson. That might catch some people off guard. We often hear about 9mm or 40 in criminal circles, but 22LR occasionally slips under the radar in discussions. Criminals aren't concerned about ballistic charts. They care about what's cheap, available, easy to conceal, and capable of doing harm. The 22 checks.
And I wake up, and I'm not in the big box store anymore.
I search up and down the aisles, and it's like nobody's there. It just feels so transactional.
You guys know there's a Pet Supplies Plus, like right down the road?
Got the big box store blues.
What?
With the best prices, selection, and service guaranteed. Pet Supplies Plus treats you like a neighbor. The grass is greener at your local Pet Supplies Plus.
So what are you?
Oh, free coffee.
Available, easy to conceal, and capable of doing harm. The 22 checks all those boxes. Certain companies produce very low-cost pistols in 22, sometimes sold by the pallet load, which end up in the hands of street-level criminals. That shouldn't surprise anyone who understands that if you need a lethal tool and don't have a lot of cash, you'll probably pick the easiest route. In many parts of the world, 22LR is among the most frequently used rounds for crimes simply because it's everywhere. Even in places like New Zealand and Australia, where gun laws are very different from those in the United States, data indicates 22 long rifle has ended more lives than any other caliber. It's not the so-called high-powered rifles. It's the unassuming little rimfire that's most often behind fatal incidents, largely because of its widespread presence. Some people have noted that 22LR can be ideal for suppressed systems. When fired through a shorter barrel, many 22 loads remain subsonic, meaning that if you add a suppressor, you get an incredibly quiet shot. Testing by firearms enthusiasts has shown that suppressed 22 pistols are so quiet, the loudest sound might be the impact on the target itself. This silent capability makes the cartridge even more appealing in certain tactical or clandestine circumstances. Historical accounts have mentioned hitmen favoring 22LR for close contact headshots, precisely because you can press the muzzle against a target and pull the trigger without losing your ability to cycle the next round. Some recoil-operated centerfire handguns can be pushed out of battery if you press them into a target, but a compact .22 rimfire often avoids that pitfall. Beyond human targets, there's the question of defense against animals. No one is suggesting that .22 LR is the best choice for large predators, but we do have that legendary Bella Twin story to remind us that shot placement can mean everything. When she aimed at the vulnerable spot on that grizzly, her knowledge of anatomy compensated for the shortcomings of a marginal round, proving that a quiet, inexpensive cartridge can be a formidable equalizer if used correctly. Many of us have grown up hearing folks say, "Dead is dead," comparing a 9mm to a 50 BMG. If a shot proves fatal, the exact caliber is irrelevant to the end result. However, if the shot is off target, a bigger caliber might deliver more margin for error through a larger or deeper wound path, while a smaller one relies even more heavily on precise aim. Nevertheless, we can't ignore how a well-placed .22 can end a life just as definitively as a big-bore alternative if it finds the right angle or critical organ. That dynamic has huge implications for everyday carry, home defense, and survival situations, because while bigger calibers might be recommended, the .22 might be what someone has, and it may be perfectly capable of saving their life if they train with it. As a Pro 2A individual, I believe strongly in being equipped with whatever caliber we can effectively control and maintain. Of course, if you have access to a quality 9mm, .45 or 357, it might give you some ballistic advantages, but the presence of a .22 on your hip or in your purse is infinitely better than no firearm at all. I also see the value in discussing the potential of carrying a .22 for those who struggle with recoil or have physical limitations that make firing bigger rounds difficult. We shouldn't dismiss the .22 out of hand just because it's small. History has shown that it can be more than enough for both lawful and unlawful intentions. Considering all of these examples, from Bella Twins Bear to the Federal Punch gel data, there's a consistent message. The .22 LR is easy to overlook, yet it's exactly that underestimation that lead to lethal outcomes. It's almost a perfect storm of factors. Affordability, quiet operation, high accessibility, and a general public mindset that treats it like a novelty. Whenever something appears harmless or insignificant, it ends up catching people off guard in real-world encounters. The 22nd might not be the most powerful or heavily used round in America's homicide statistics, but in many ways, it can be considered incredibly dangerous because of how unassuming it is, how deeply it can penetrate, and how often it's dismissed. Even though 9mm might dominate sheer numbers, the .22 has quietly and consistently left its mark, as seen in stories of law enforcement tragedies, presidential near misses, record-setting grizzlies, and countless civilian defensive incidents. Some people might wonder if you should rely on a .22 for personal defense. My view is that you should carry the most effective handgun you can shoot well, and if .22 LR is what you can manage, you're still far ahead of having no option at all. The data on modern defensive rimfire loads like Federal Punch makes it clear that .22s can reach vital areas when shot placement is on target. The speed, or lack thereof, doesn't necessarily stop them from creating wounds that incapacitate or kill if used responsibly, or, in tragic cases, irresponsibly by criminals. When we see ballistic gel tests showing that a short-barreled .22 pistol can exceed the desired 12 inches of penetration, it becomes evident that old stereotypes about not having enough power need to be revisited. We also can't forget the countless anecdotes from folks who've seen or experienced how a .22 LR can bounce around inside a torso or skull, causing damage far beyond what any casual observer might guess. It's easy to dismiss these anecdotes as outliers, but the more examples we gather, the more we realize it's not a fluke. While some might argue that .22 LR's ballistic performance is still weaker than other common self-defense rounds, that's missing the forest for the trees. The point is, no firearm should be treated like a harmless toy. The .22 might be smaller and quieter, but if it's placed correctly, the outcome can be every bit as final. From a Pro 2A viewpoint, understanding how even the smallest of our arms can be effective serves as another reminder of the importance of responsible firearm ownership, training, and readiness. I don't know about you, but I do believe the .22 long rifle is the most dangerous round in America. But what do you think? Comment below, and please like, share, subscribe, and click on the bell icon for more of these videos. Thanks for watching.
This is not a procedure. It's just a hard-working cream. Revitalift Triple Power with pro-retinol, hyaluronic acid, and vitamin C. Visibly reduces wrinkles, firms, and brightens skin in 1 week. Ladies, it's time to ask for more. Revitalift Triple Power by L'Oreal Paris.
Just that?
Do you want a bag?
No, that's fine.
Come back soon.
If you insist.
You know you can buy more than one at a time.
I'm just working up the courage to ask you out.
There was before you. There was during you. I never thought there would be an after you.
This court sentences you to 7 years incarceration.
Do you happen to be hiring?
No. We can't take folks with a record. What's your trauma?
I can't get a job because I just got out of prison.
Shit, you win.
Yay me. The hell took the bookstore into a bar.
Right.
Do you guys need help?
Do you know how to wash dishes?
7 years experience.
Okay. Now can I ask you to expand on that? Hey, how'd you know I lived here?
I'm not here to see you. I need to see my daughter.
You're hurt. Go. Scotty was my best friend. When he died, we all raised his little girl.
How dare she just show up?
If it wasn't for her, our son would still be alive. Coming back was a mistake.
I want to meet the human that Scotty and I made. Why are you here? It's gonna make it so much worse. We can't.
Well, I just hope you do the right thing. What's the right thing? I don't know. I just hope you do it. You've taken the worst moment of her life and made it into who she is.
Do you hate me?
I've gone from hating you to wanting the whole world for you.
I should probably go.
Squeaky set of brake pads.
on, got to get on it. Just been a minute getting on Charlie Sheen in studio. I'm so excited to speak to you.
Likewise, thank you.
Yeah, I've known of for quite some time. I've always felt like a little bit of a kindred spirit with you. Always felt like you had this fast twitch mind, and
It's an interesting. It's never been described as such.
And I watched the special, I should say the doc two-parter, aka Charlie Sheen on Netflix. It's really compelling.
Thank you.
And it's well made. Like, as a guy who's made quite a few docs.
Sure.
Some docs are a little bit lazy.
Yeah.
This is not it. This is interesting, lots of creativity, lots of archival, like,
Sure.
Really well put together.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, no, credited as a producer on it, right? But I was heavily involved in all the prep work. The director, Andrew Renzi, and myself, we spent, I think, over a year preparing for it, and so much of that was archival.
Yeah, it is put together, so a lot of docs are put together in a kind of pedestrian way, just sort of A, B, C, D, what happened, let's go chronologically, show footage, so on and so forth.
Right.
Now they're becoming like a little bit of an art form. Like,
Sure.
they're using graphics, and they're just taking creative leaps and doing things that makes you think for a second.
Sure.
And this is done from the standpoint of like a filmmaker, not a documentary.
Exactly. Yeah. No. He married those two worlds, I think, brilliantly.
Yeah, and it was really an interesting choice because it put Charlie in this sort of very sterile environment of a booth at a coffee house, diner, right? And so you would go from this very stripped down, sort of unplugged acoustic cup of coffee, sitting in a booth, no bells or whistles, to the really artistic, interesting layer and stuff, and then back to the unplugged acoustic.
Yeah, no, I think the contrast, the way it was juxtaposed was, I think it was almost like it created those elements as their own character.
Yeah, it's compelling, it moves, and I would say for those of you, and I will watch any doc just because I'm interested in learning things, but there are a lot of people, a lot of dumber people who go, I'm only going to watch a doc that entertains me.
Right.
Now, being informed is a byproduct for them. For me, it's the product.
Sure.
And then the entertainment is a plus.
Got it. Yeah.
So I'll watch any doc, but I'll take the gravy of the entertainment. But this is a doc that if you have a girlfriend or a roommate who does not dig docs, they can watch this like a film.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. No. That was his approach. Andrew's. Because I'd seen a couple that he had done. He did Pepsi Where's My Jet, and I thought it was terrific. He did an episode with Jake Paul for Untold. I think it was Untold. Anyway, but it was, I just got to see enough of his filmic prowess to feel like I was in really good hands. But then after that, we had to develop a trust. And that's the kind of thing that either happens or it doesn't. And if it didn't happen, I don't think we could have gotten into a lot of the stuff that we did.
Well, it's really entertaining. It's two parts. It moves. I watched it once right when it came out because I love it. I watched a John Candy doc too. It's like watch the docs. They're good.
Right.
You get a bouillon cube, a guy's life in a bouillon cube, and you get all the nutrients in 90 minutes. In this case, 2 segments, 2 episodes, 90 minutes, but each or somewhere thereabouts. Also, the book of Sheen is available now as well. But as I was watching you in this doc and kind of studying it, I was thinking about myself a little bit, and then I was realizing
Every time I open that spreadsheet,
decades behind. Discover Pipedrive Sales CRM.
Looking for a new home? Just search it how you'd say it. Realtor.com changed the way you search for homes. So you just say what you want and see what you want. Now that's real nice. Make it real with Realtor.com.
That a lot of people get into substance, or let's just say alcohol. They drink and then they get kind of sloppy and then they pass out and then they, you know, they get drunk and they pass out. They knock something over. They go, where is he? He's in the hall. He's sleeping in the tub.
Right.
And then there's a kind of a brain that can almost overcome the inebriation. Like you drink as much as everyone else, but you can maintain. Like it takes a lot to really get you to that place.
It did, yeah.
And if you have a really like strong brain, you can like I was with Mark Garagos, the attorney, once several years ago when we were in Florida. We were doing some shows or something.
Okay.
And somebody kept sending up shots of Don Julio to the stage, you know. And Mark and I were just doing the shots. And Mark, I would call him a bit of a heavyweight, like he can drink.
Right.
At some point was in the green room, yakking into the toilet, passed out on the green room sofa, right? And we were just up there shot for shot. And so Mark, I saw him the next day. He said, God, I don't know where it was. I don't know how I got home or whatever. He goes, what happened to you? And I go, I did a 90-minute stand-up show. And he goes, what? I couldn't see straight. I go, I had to do a show, you know? And he goes, how the hell did you do a show? I couldn't walk. And I was like, I drank a cup of coffee. I drank a few glasses of water. Right. I ate a bagel. Right. Waited 45 minutes, and then I did the show. Sure. And he's like, how'd you do it? I was like, well, I have to do the show. Right. So there's and then our brain can sort of transcend it. Sure. A little. Everyone gets affected. Right. Right. But there are brains that can kind of, and then we know women have, like my mom, glass of champagne. Oh, somebody needs to drive me home. Right. You know what I mean? So you had a brain that could take it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it was more of a, it always felt more like fuel than it did like a sedative.
Right, right.
And it would just activate things in a way that just created just desires and just more energy for stuff, you know. But it's interesting because you mentioned, because Garagos is like, well, how did you do that? But you did it because you knew that you had to, and you knew that was on your plate. That was part of your schedule. You'd committed to it, right?
Yes, I committed to it.
Yeah, so it was non-negotiable.
No, but also when we were doing our show and people were handing us shots of Don Julio, I didn't turn down any of them saying I had a late show, I had to work on it, you know. I said, no, we'll do this, and then I'll compartmentalize this somehow. We'll do the late show.
Right. You had a plan that you stuck to.
Yes. Right. Yeah, well, that's the other thing. It's not a possibility that I would go cancel the late show on Friday. I can't do it. I'm tired. Totally. Totally get that. So the show must go on. But I must get fucked up earlier. Right. So now we gotta wait. I must get fucked up earlier when the show must go on. Right.
Yeah. And then it's also talk to you afterwards.
Yeah. You're pain in the dick.
Yeah, it wasn't. I didn't get up there and throw up, take a piss on someone in the first row. Right. Yeah, I just went and got my shit together and did the show. I mean, if you examine the tape, you might detect something, but I mean, I did the show. It was a good show. I'm sure. And it was fine.
Whereas everyone else, you know, couple of rails, good for the night,
Sure.
whatever. But
Yeah.
but that didn't work for you.
It didn't. It didn't. No. And it's not just about building tolerance. It's just. It's. I think it was more about just kind of knowing, you know, the levels that I could continue, you know, whatever moment was offering or I was demanding from it. You know.
But do you have so I the group said it's been hypervigilant.
Okay.
And I don't know if you have hypervigilance.
I don't know, but it's interesting that you mentioned him because he was one of the guys. He was one of the medical voices in the mix. You know, trying to assess what was going on with me during the whole development thing. West Side That was nuts. You know what's interesting is in the doc where you see Nick telling the story on Letterman, right?
Yes.
And and that was the first time I'd ever seen Nick telling the story on Letterman. It was in the doc.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't know that he'd ever told it.
Uh-huh.
And so when Renz puts us side by side with that quote, you know, this is your captain, I'm not feeling well, I'm losing control of the aircraft, right? It's identical as though we planned it.
Right. So you know it's true.
Yes, our stories match.
You guys were flying to San Francisco?
We were, yeah. It was Frisco or Vegas? It was Frisco.
I think it was Frisco, according to the doc. And now I don't know what you guys were doing in Frisco.
We were going up there, we wanted to watch Apocalypse in Francis Coppola's, his uncle, one of his houses, or his main house, because he had a screening room with a great sound setup.
Because
So
he's he's descendant of, related to.
Exactly, yeah. Coppola, which is his
real name. Well, yeah, you guys sort of have a weird switcheroo, sort of.
Right?
Yeah. With the last.
Yeah. And so that was the plan. And somehow on the way there, it turned into that thing. But it wasn't that thing before the.
So just for people who haven't seen it,
okay,
he liked to party.
Yeah, I mean, not like me.
Right.
But when the two of us came together the first time, it's almost like we were strangely like looking for each other, or looking for the experience that the other could provide.
Yeah, and also, I mean, to be fair to him, I mean, I know it's a semantics thing, but he liked to party and you like to poison. Like, there's a thing where, like, people want to party, but what you weren't doing is partying. You went beyond the party.
Oh yeah,
I guess is what I'm
saying. I was trying to get to a place and stay there.
Right. He wanted to party,
but his partying was always just booze.
So
he never did drugs.
Right.
Until the two of us wound up in the same boat one night, you know.
So he went and had drinks, and then went and grabbed the blower, the intercom.
Yes.
On the flight.
Is that slang for it? Is it
the blower?
Is it a blower? I love that. I like that. But it had already been established, like Eddie B and Phil and Carrie, we'd already done a silly little act for the benefit of the passengers.
Oh.
So we were, because they still had that curtain separated.
Right.
So we pulled the curtain back with the mic.
Right.
Say something really goofy and get a couple laughs.
Right,
People were into it, right?
Sort of like early Southwest when they do a little shtick up there.
Exactly. And so, and everybody thought it was harmless, and yeah, these guys are hammered, but they're you know, it's completely, everything's under control.
Right.
And then the blower winds up with the cage.
Right.
And he just somehow, I don't know why, he saw the tone that we had set.
Right.
But chose to take it where he did.
Which is saying he was the captain.
Impersonating the captain, that he's not feeling well and he's losing control of the airplane. And it was right out of the movies. You hear people start screaming. Like there's always that high-pitched female scream in the movies. Right. That happened.
Right.
So, and we were in a panic, and he didn't know the amount of cocaine I had on me.
Yes, 1.3 grams, maybe.
No, it was like two ounces.
Oh, ounces?
Yeah.
I get my grams and my ounces.
No, it's fine. Yeah,
2 ounces is a lot.
Yeah, in a fat Ziploc.
How many grams are in an ounce?
16, 14.
No,
28. There's 28 grams in an ounce.
We'll look it up. But so if you're talking about 48 grams, you're talking about almost 20 grams of cocaine.
Pretty much about that.
That's a lot of cocaine.
Well, I didn't know how long we were going to be up there. I didn't know how many times we were going to watch Apocalypse. Come on.
So that's taped to your ankle.
No, the inside of my
inner
thigh. Yeah.
Because, by the way, that's enough to get intent to distribute. Like,
perhaps.
That's enough to get in real trouble.
Perhaps, yeah.
Well, put it to you this way: that's a civilian. That's enough. If you can loyally Mark Garagos to sober up, right. Bathroom, you'll probably be okay.
That would suck if that was the day I needed it. But wouldn't they kind of mash up all of those charges together? There'd be FAA stuff. Violations.
There'd be some RICO and some interstate commerce. There'd be all of it. So.
This is Buick now. Buick, exceptional by design. Current eligible GM lessees get this ultra-low mileage lease on this 2026 Buick Enclave Preferred for around $499 per month.
Oh, the cops, the feds, the marshals are waiting for you when you get off the plane.
They are.
Because somebody radio.
Oh yeah. And the steward, are they called stewards?
I don't know what we call it.
The male flight attendant. And exactly as Nick tells it on Letterman, like walks right up to him, like this purposeful walk, and stops right in front of him, points him right in the face, and says, "Not cool, Mister. Not cool." And that was about 10 minutes before landing.
Right.
So we kind of knew that there might be, we might have company.
Right. And the door plane opens, there's uniform guys there.
Oh yeah. Well, there's guys in uniforms, and we're like, huh.
Right. Now, Nick's the one who was on the blowers, we like to call it. You had picked it up, but done a more innocent use of com.
Yeah,
you're not necessarily in his boat, but you are in his crew.
Right, but it would be like the, what do they call it, felony murder with the wheelman.
Yeah, you're the wheelman.
You shoot the back guard, and you're just as, but I was wearing a Dick Tracy hat that I bought at the airport before I was having a bad hair day, and I was like, I'll just hide under this thing, and it was like $12. It was that yellow, really cheap material, and so my act to the cabin was speaking into my communicator.
Right.
I don't know, that doesn't come close to answering your question. So I still had a measure of goodwill with the passengers.
Right.
Yeah, because nobody knew at that point I was a drug mule. Yeah.
Right. So you got this stuff taped to your inner thigh. You're detained.
We are detained.
And now you're moments away from a situation where it's like you get pulled over and you're worried about a DUI, but you got a body.
Exactly.
And it's going to get a lot worse.
It's going to get a lot worse, yeah.
Right.
It was that thing again where, one of them was two guys with Cage fans, a couple guys with Sheen fans, and we could feel it start to turn.
Yeah.
Worm in our favor. And that's when the first wave of relief kind of, okay, this is not going to be a life-changing evening. And at least not in their hands.
They'll ask you a question. Like, I know I've been pulled over a few times, and you go, oh, shit, I'm getting a ticket. And then the guy will come up and go, get any new cars? And I'm like, oh, all right, we're good. Yeah, they'll ask some little insider something, and you'll go, okay, now we'll be cool.
Yeah.
From this point on.
I had a Porsche in 1987, and I used to live at County Line. Remember that is?
Sure.
Neptune's Nest, right?
Yeah.
And there was one night I hadn't had a drink, and there was nobody on the road. It was about 3 a.m. It was a hardtop 911S, I think it was, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful car, and I wanted to see what the damn thing could do. And stupidly, I got it up to about 161.
Wow.
Yeah, I went for it. And the broken yellow line turned solid. Yeah. And that's miles to slow down.
Right.
I just started, I didn't want to jam things, but the road was cars, like those moments.
Right.
And he says, what's going on? And I didn't have a cover story.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, just got this empty road, nothing to drink. I just really wanted to see if what the car could do. And the guy looks at me and he says, well, you may want to slow down. A perfectly good piece of machinery.
Yeah.
It wasn't about me.
Right.
It was about don't destroy this car.
A lot of cops are car guys, which is
He was tripping and he wouldn't let me go. But that's a trip to jail. Those speeds.
Right. Yeah. It's exhibition speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something like more than 20 miles an hour over the posted, whatever they could take in.
That's where it's hard.
Theoretically, or reckless driving or something. So, partying. You're now Emilio and your dad, Mark, were not in the film. It was nice the way you sort of covered it and spoke about it. Your dad comes across as a hero, basically, of the dock.
For sure.
I mean, what that guy did at all hours of the morning, sort of.
I know. And there's that line, I think I say, can't imagine being my dad.
Yeah, well, because every night you woke up, at 3:30 in the morning to take a piss, you'd have to pause and go, I wonder where my son is right now, I wonder who he's with, I wonder what he's imbibing, I wonder what he's doing, I wonder if he's driving, I wonder if he's flatlining, right? Like you have to have that thought.
Right. Well, the one thing they did know is that I was a limo guy, like from the jump.
Mm-hmm.
I was riding in them, before they were fashionable, and stayed in them, long after they were cool.
Right. So the DUI part was probably
never got one, and just made that decision like at 18.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, the notion that you don't have a DUI is insane.
It's pretty
because
crazy.
They made a Mount Rushmore of celebrities who should have DUIs.
I'm in there. I'm in there. Yeah.
You're up there.
Where in the lineup though? Am I number 2? Am I number 3? You think? If we're going left to right.
I'd have to figure it out, and then I'd have to also figure out who doesn't have a DUI in that group.
Okay.
Although I don't know what the rules are, but the fact that you don't have a DUI,
It's bananas.
and there's dudes I work construction with who have 2 DUIs.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
They haven't done 1/10
Wow.
your party, but they couldn't afford a limo.
Yeah.
That was their thing.
But there was always, I just knew there was always, and the alternative option, that,
Right.
And sometimes we'd be on I'd be on a 2 or 3 day run, and, you remember this place called Carlos and Pepe's in Malibu?
Yeah.
Or was it Carlos and Charlie's?
Well, there was a Carlos and Pepe's like on Sunset, and then
Okay.
there's a Carlos and Charlie's. I can't remember which one's on Sunset, which one's on Malibu.
I think that Carlos and Charlie's, right? Was that Malibu?
I didn't.
We're gonna get letters.
I didn't get a chance to hang that much in
But
Malibu.
so I would, have a fun night there and leave my car and take a cab or like the one taxi in Malibu, do you remember? And then the party would find its way all around Malibu. And during the day, we would drive, going to someone else's house, and I could just drive past and just see that my car was still there.
Right.
And I was like, all right, good, okay, keep going.
Rougiette. Now, I know nobody wants to talk about this. I'm talking about ED, but trust me, you're not the only guy locked in the bedroom. We've all heard the excuses. It's just stress, long day at work, happens to everyone sometimes, right? Am I right? Look, it's more common than you think. 30 million men deal with it. That's a Dodger Stadium full of guys and the parking lot as well. You're not special. You're just a man who might need a little backup. That's where Rougiette comes in. They've got fast-acting ED treatments prescribed by real doctors, delivered right to your door. No more awkward pharmacy runs. No more pretending everything's fine. Stop making excuses and start making moves with Rougiette. Am I right, Dawson?
RUGT.com/Adam. 50% off your first order. That's RUGT.com/Adam.
again.
Use our code to support the show. And so much.
Zone.
In the dock,
I have a connection, a weird connection to Heidi Fleiss, which is her dad is a pediatrician.
Right, Dr. Fleiss, yeah.
And he was my pediatrician when I was really young.
Seriously?
Yeah.
How old is your dad? Like 105?
Heidi Fleisch's dad, and I'm looking at you, Andrew, or Dawson, must have expired. I would argue, but he was Heidi Fleisch's dad. It makes the whole thing a little more surreal that her dad was a kind of well-known pediatrician. Right. For some reason, it adds an extra. If her dad was a truck driver or something, it wouldn't be as fun.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But he was not only that, but he was a kind of early 70s, late 60s kind of hippie pediatrician, kind of free to be you and me. He probably wouldn't have been. He would have been much more RFK Jr. than Biden in terms of he was like more down, kind of would have liked all the vaccinations, or a little more holistic or something.
I gotcha.
When did he? So does it say R.I.P. 14? I guess is when he passed away. But he was
33. Damn.
Kind of hippy dippy pediatrician that the sort of hippy dippies liked out here.
Got it.
But the Heidi Fleiss thing.
But do you have memories of being in his office as a child?
Yeah, I remember, Dr. Fleiss is, or see Dr. Fleiss.
And he had a Beverly Hills office or Santa Monica? Or?
Beverly Hills probably would have been too hoity-toity for him. He was, again, a little more salt in the earth. Kind of I don't remember. Probably Silver Lake. More of a Silver Lake dude. My mom was more me and probably thought more about, a guy So, the Heidi Fleiss thing is kind of weird. Now, she is still harboring a little animosity. A little bit. And I'm hoping
Come here. Sneaky fuck.
Closing a circle.
Fucking hate winter.
There was a lot going on.